Have that many losses. Yes. Yeah, I'll do the same as I did last time. Yeah.
I'm sorry, we got talking motorcycles.
Yeah, when are you gonna get a newer one?
You don't like that old one? 1967.
It's the kickstart that scares me.
No, that's the Harleys used to kick you back.
Yeah.
Pretty much it.
Looks like noon. I think this all is coming, Jim Clenchman texted me and said we couldn't make it. Call the meeting to order. And we need to adopt the agenda. Anything else we need to add, Lori?
Not that I know of.
Okay, I accept the motion to adopt the agenda as written.
So moved.
Second.
Motion is second. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Approval of the minutes from May 19th, May 9th, May 16th, and July 5th.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Any questions or comments? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Business park signage. Lori?
So we had talked a while ago about the signs in the Chief Hole in the Day in the North Bluff Business Park. They're kind of ratty, old, need to be repainted, refurbished, you know, fixed up or whatever. So I did talk to Froggy, who supplied us with the signs in the first place. He said that he could replace those signs with metal signs so that we wouldn't have the maintenance on them at a cost of about $800 per sign. If he were to come out and refinish the existing wood signs, it would be $300 to $400 per sign. So he said that should last about 5 to 8 years. He would still put them on the cedar posts, and we'd have to, you know, repaint the cedar posts from time to time. But at least the sign themselves, you know, would last for a much longer period of time. So I think we have one metal one already up in Chief Hole in the Day, but there's at least one more over there, the one for North Bluff, and then that Jobs, no, it's not a Jobsies, it's because we got a federal grant, we have to have that Jobs Opportunity sign up on the North Bluff. We have to leave that up there. So to replace, each of the signs would be about $800 per sign. So just wanting feedback from the EDA, if you guys want him to refinish the existing wood ones, or if we should spend some money on the metal ones and then not have to maintain them, not have the maintenance part of it so much.
What was the agreement with those businesses then that originally?
Well, there was really no agreement on the signs that were hanging at the bottom, so we actually took them off because I think there was only one existing business out there. So we removed them for the time being. We can certainly find a way to add them back on if we do the metal signs and if they want their signage up there, you know, or we just leave them off.
So these 4 signs are for identifying the park only?
The business
not the
park and
businesses.
stuff,
Yeah,
right,
okay.
the big business park signs,
Okay.
yeah.
And is it 4 signs or 2 signs? I was confused.
3 for sure, possibly 4, because
Got it.
there's one for the North Bluff. There's the Jobs Opportunity sign, and
Okay.
at least one for Chief Hole in the Day, maybe 2.
Okay.
So
Oh, there are those signs we have up now.
North Bluff was done, oh man, I want to say the late 90s. Chief Hole in the Day is more recent. That one is probably about 2005 or so.
I like them, would look a lot better, but if we're looking at how long is the metal one gonna last, eternity?
Well, I mean,
Pretty
yeah,
much.
it'll last a long time.
And where would the money come from if we
The
were to
EDA
do-
budget.
Okay,
Yeah.
and we have money to replace those. I don't see any sense of having to do it 2 or 3 times over 15 years, why wouldn't we just go with the metal and it's more of an investment, but.
Do the metal signs resemble the wooden ones that are
Yes, yes, they're the same.
Okay.
I wish I would have run up to Chief Hole in the Day, cause I know there's one up there that's already metal and, so yeah, they're the exact same shape and everything, that same colors, they just are metal instead of wood.
Yeah, I think that'd be a good idea.
Yeah, I agree, let's promote metal. Done with it, I'll make the motion, we approve replacing the 4 signs with metal signs.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second, further discussion? If not, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign, motion carries. Downtown rehab.
So as a EDA board, this was discussed a couple of meetings ago, and I guess what we were looking for is just some ideas from the EDA as far as what you want to see in a rehab program. Do you want it confined just to the historic district? Do you want it confined to the downtown? What kinds of things are we looking at doing, and would it be a combination grant loan, a grant program, a loan program? You know, how we see this working. The HPC's program is a grant loan program where they have to have so much owner equity, a percentage of it is loan and like a deferred loan where it's forgiven over the course of 10 years, and then the other part is a loan that's paid back. The HPC deals strictly with facades and roofs. They don't do anything interior as far as any kind of improvements or anything, you know, inside the building. So theirs is a facade, and they've done some roofs. In exchange for that, they get a facade easement so that any improvements that are made to the facade have to be approved by the HPC.
Is that strictly historic downtown?
And that's just in the
HPC?
historic area, yes.
Could we word it somehow, because I think my intention was to try to clean up our downtown and fill up the the buildings.
Beat up
Could we,
buildings, yeah.
could we put something in there primarily used for downtown, so if there are the historic, and because if something came up somewhere else, we had a chance to probably help someone succeed, I'd hate to have to make the exception or turn it down. Could we word it that way, or does
Yeah,
that not
I
make
think you
sense?
set a location in terms, either you do it by boundaries or do it by zoning district or something along those lines. Maybe it's more of a wide scale rectangular boundary for commercial purpose buildings. I mean, maybe some homes land in there, but it's only if it's for a commercial activity building. Rather than saying it's First Avenue by First Street by Third Avenue or something like that.
So we could say citywide, pretty much.
Yeah,
If you wanted to go
if
that
you
way.
wanted to get a broader,
It has to be within the city limits of.
yeah, if you wanted to get a broader impact, you know,
I don't,
you don't necessarily want to just focus on, or you know, maybe you don't want to ignore other commercial districts of the town, but you don't want to.
well, I would
Miss the
disagree.
opportunities.
I would disagree. One of my big things all along has been saving downtown.
Mhm.
And I would like to see it broad-based downtown.
Yeah.
Now, how you define that, I don't know.
Yeah.
But I want to encourage downtown development versus on the outskirts by 10 or wherever.
Yeah.
That's my gut. Now, you guys can, you know, it's obviously we got to vote on it, so.
It certainly lands into, it's more cost prohibitive for those businesses to renovate downtown.
Correct.
Because the age of the buildings.
It's very
the
difficult to
location,
make
the
code, yes.
Proximity of one to another. You know, certainly things aren't built, they weren't built then to the codes and restrictions they are today.
Well,
So that would be, you know, a very good justification for saying it's this boundary.
Yeah. Well, it's like I
Not
said
this
before, you know, if
elevation.
you remodel that building and you want to use the upstairs, you got to put in an elevator. Who can afford that?
But is there, whether it be on the west side, or is there downtown buildings that are outside of the historic?
Yes.
Oh, yes, definitely,
Yes.
yeah,
So,
there's definitely,
I mean,
so we don't
you
want to
can-
necessarily.
We can't just go historic.
I think we
yeah.
have to come up with a physical boundary or something. I
Yeah,
don't know.
I think you just outline your streets to say it's all commercial properties within this street boundary.
Well, historic.
Looking there is you kind of have what's penciled in as the historic versus
And we can come up with those
That's what I
boundaries
was
and
gonna say,
stuff, so
yeah.
it's just from.
You've got an
from the
idea of what we're
EDA,
talking.
Yeah, what you're looking at, so,
Because we can bring it back in the form of a
yep,
motion or
absolutely,
resolution
yeah,
or whatever.
And this would be a renovation for anything, any type. If they had a fake ceiling, they want to go back to the original tin ceiling. So we're not restricting them to roofs or frontage storefronts.
To me, those are the two things we shouldn't, well, especially in the historic area, the roofs and the storefronts, because the HPC can
It's
do
already
that.
doing that.
But if you're a building that's outside of the historic district, you may need some work with a facade or a roof. And because you're outside of the
Yeah,
historic
good point.
district, then you don't have that.
Yeah.
So I mean, this would be it would be complementing what the HPC does in the
We're
historic
not gonna
district.
compete with, if
Right.
there's funds available through the HPC, we're not going to give those for an eligible activity to the HPC within an HPC eligible area. I think you'd have to set that in your terms of, one building that's in the historic district wants a new roof, well, you gotta go through the HPC program to do that, you can't use us.
The two items that kill them is if you change anything in the building, you gotta rewire the whole thing to code, and plumbing has to be brought to code. Those are the two really big ones that become prohibited.
Well, wasn't another intention, we don't want it for the realtors or the building
Developers.
owner
Yes.
to fix it up so they can get
Well,
a better
that's
price for
built
it.
into the
So you
HPC.
write in something regarding
Yeah,
how
HPC
long
has
they
that.
have to be open and, yeah.
The way the HPC would, Lori can probably give the details, but if they borrow the money and then fix it and sell it, they gotta pay it back.
Mhm.
Versus if they stay there, it's slowly forgiven.
Yeah, that's the.
We could model it the
That's the
same way.
deferred
Yeah.
loan.
Yeah, that's what I wanted to make
I would
sure.
probably say that you should keep it, the terms similar in terms of
Yeah.
those paybacks and those
Yeah.
requirements with the HPC, because you don't want to create one where there's one property that's in the historic district, one that's not in the historic district, and all of a sudden you got much more favorable terms on the one that's not versus the one that is.
Yep.
And, you're making it more prohibitive for people to be involved in the historic district. Well, that's kind of flies in the face of the HPC and what their goals are, so.
So do you wanna try to craft something with?
Right, as
this
long as we have
information? Any
some.
other questions?
Right, and so then as far as for the use of the funds, you're pretty much open to anything that they need to do, right? I mean, if it's
Yeah,
electrical.
I don't think we need to limit it.
Furnace,
Yeah, just so long as they're not using us when there's an eligible, another
We could,
eligible
yeah,
resource.
put a sentence to that effect in about if the HPC covers it.
yeah, we're not gonna compete with
Right,
them.
we'll-
Well, we'll review it anyway.
Yeah.
Right, right.
All projects would be
And the idea of improving the resale. That's
Yeah, that would,
not a good
I think, yeah, you.
If we model after the
If you do
HPC,
that with a deferred loan.
Yep.
I mean, that way at least, if you are getting improvements done, and if it gets sold, then you get your money back.
Yeah.
So you can do it.
and it's still a win for us
Yeah,
because the
yeah.
downtown's been improved, so, yeah.
And then,
Ultimately, you want the improvements to be made.
Mhm.
It doesn't, you do want the owners to be, taking the brunt of that responsibility if they can, and benefiting most from it if it's, takes time to recoup that benefit. But you don't want to turn this into somebody can just flip a building downtown and get all this extra money from the city to do so.
if needed, do we have dollars available once we have that crafted, or do we have to find a funding source as far as budget or land sales, and then we'd have to go through the council anyway, so I guess the main question would be, once we get this crafted, then we pass it through here and then bring it to the council so they know what we're doing and that we need a funding source, or how? What would you suggest?
Because the EDA is a standalone board, it
With
doesn't.
levying authority.
Right, it doesn't have to go through the city council, I think, we should, I would think, definitely bring it to their attention and let them know that this is what the EDA is considering doing, and then when we go through the budget process, then we can, determine, whether it's through sale of land or
Sure.
how.
Okay.
If we're
How we
funding.
want to
yeah.
designate those funds.
Is there money there now? I mean, if we somebody came to us and said, we wanna buy this building, but it's cost prohibitive. Is there, do we have any money now? or
We
no?
don't have anything
Do
set
not,
aside
okay.
right at this point,
Okay,
but I mean,
alright.
we'll get to me, we should get the guidelines
Right.
and everything
Yeah.
kind
Yep.
of set up and
No.
established, and then,
We have funds, but it's with other strings attached to them,
Right,
the other
right.
eligible activities
Okay.
that are outside of what this would fit,
Okay,
so.
okay. And then, I know community development has a program as well, so I'll probably chat with Carol and make sure that we aren't duplicating or that we're complementing, the programs are complementing each other, so, okay.
And when you talk about these loans, you're talking about it disappears after so many years?
The HPC does it, they do both. They have to have an owner equity portion, and then they have what's called a deferred loan, where part of it is forgiven over the course of 10 years, 1/10 each year that they own the building, so after 10 years, the deferred loan is forgiven, and then the other part of it is loan that's paid back. Theirs is set up, I believe, the first 5 years of the payback, there's no interest. And that's to encourage people to do the facades in a historic nature. You know, whether we choose to have a payback at no interest or a low rate of interest, you know, that's something we can talk about and we'll look at. But,
Okay.
So I was just in Austin last week, Minnesota, and they've done a program like this. And I don't think and it isn't run through their HPC, and it isn't for historic nature, but they do have a downtown revitalization group that they've done the same thing, taken the easements on all the facades and given a lot of money to redoing those areas, and it really looks impressive. And they've done a very good job working with other groups to keep those buildings occupied. So, yeah, it was pretty impressive to see kind of what it can become. So,
Well, I'd like to see low interest loans made, just so we, you know, even if it's 2%, so the fund, we keep building it. So we've got some money to go back to when new projects come through. And those are just my thoughts on it, but
again, I'd model it after what the HPC, I'm sorry, yeah, HPC is doing, because it's been successful.
They've got a good model.
Yeah,
Okay, well, with that, then we can, craft up a draft, policy, and then we'll let you guys look at it and see what you think.
Okay.
yeah, makes sense.
Motion to adjourn?
so moved.
Okay.
I will make mention, if you keep some time open on your calendars, end of September, we're gonna, well, we'll hopefully have a date the end of this week, but end of September, beginning of October, we're gonna do an ATV ride with the Campbell Designer State Trail, where we're gonna be inviting a lot of legislators, et cetera. So it should be a pretty big event. I'll make sure everybody knows about it.
So you're gonna provide us with ATVs?
Yeah.
We had a motion and a second, all in favor,
That's
signify by
yours.
saying aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign. Motion carried.
All right.
Thank you.
Yeah, we're gonna hit the